Are 3D printers affecting the global supply chain? Before the COVID-19 pandemic, only a few companies used 3D printing. Those that did primarily used it for the creation of prototypes for their products. 3D printers were expensive, as was the materials used in them, which was usually just plastic, though some can manage aluminum as well. There were and are other concerns that kept many away from wanting to work with it, including concerns about intellectual property and the potential for bad individuals to make dangerous items. But during COVID-19, with all the supply chain shortages and difficulties, many companies turned to 3D printing to help make up the difference. Perhaps most notably, 3D printing was used to make ventilators. Not just prototypes for ventilators, but finished products that were sellable to customers. Many other things have been made using 3D printers, including, though not limited to, airplane parts, car parts, 3D printer parts, and ship parts. But how does this help with supply chains? First off, there are already companies who work as service providers who just make objects with 3D printers for other people. Just upload your designs to their website and they'll make it for you. One of these companies, PostNord, has a plan to set up many small factories for 3D printing. Imagine picking up your 3D printed object just as you would your groceries. This method would cut down on the need to mail objects to their customers, which would lessen PostNord's transportation costs. A similar system has been suggested by one Nora Tor, a 3D printing expert. Only instead of a third-party industry, she suggests that ports, hospitals, military bases, or any other place that could need quick replacement parts should have a 3D printer set up and ready to go in case of emergencies. The example she uses is when one tiny part of a ship breaks, forcing it to stay in port. While there, a shipment of replacements is ordered and shipped to that port. Each day the ship is in port, it costs around $10,000, and for that shipment to arrive could take weeks. Or that tiny part could be made at the port with a 3D printer, and the ship could continue its planned voyage with only a few hours delay. Thousands of dollars saved just because there was a 3D printer in the area. It's this type of situation that makes Tally Roseman, General Manager and VP at Xerox, a company that makes 3D printers, say that everything in the past 2 years, referring to COVID, really hammered the point that having supply chain resiliency is a matter of national security. Oliver Scalabret, a French operations analyst, has said a similar thing. He says that economic growth can help prevent wars, and 3D printing is beginning a new manufacturing revolution that will help to increase worldwide growth, all while cutting down on transportation times, lead times, inventory counts, warehouse size, and simply making things cheaper. Sure, the upfront cost of a 3D printer is still a bit high, but that cost has only been decreasing with time. And when it can save you thousands of dollars with the creation of just one part, I'd say it pays for itself quite well. And since you can make basically anything with it, so long as you have the design and materials, you can even cut out the need for certain suppliers depending on your product, potentially making your only supplier the people who make the materials for the printer. Engineers and scientists are still working on making 3D printers more efficient and versatile, increasing the number of materials the printer can use, and making it so an entire layer of material can be laid within seconds. With these improvements, it may not be long before 3D printing is part, if not all, of every supply chain. Thank you.